This is Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show.
I've done my hair.
Hello and welcome to Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show, episode 66.
66.
I am your co-host Joshua. With me, as always,
Your co-host Jay, and with us, as always, is our booking agent, Mr. Rowan Kaiser.
Hooray!
Rowan the Feech.
The Feech. They call him the Feech. How's everyone doing?
I'm okay.
Don't get too excited.
I'm excited about 66. Those two numbers are the same.
Yeah.
I know. How can we get another 6 in there?
We'll figure out a way before the end of the episode.
Release this on October 6th,
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
2016.
That's too many sixes.
Rowan Kaiser.
Huh?
Jay Pullman.
Huh.
Actually, first Jay Pullman. Jay Pullman.
Yes.
How many pre-orders for next-gen consoles do you currently have?
I think 11, 10. No, just 10.
Do you still have both?
Yeah, I'm still hanging on to those.
Okay, this is the weekly question for me every week.
I know I have to. I'm not really paying attention to it until we get closer to the dates and I can see where I'm at with stuff.
I'm starting to get a little bit of cold feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About which one?
I have a pre-order for the Xbox One, the new Xbox,
You need a day one
the
achievement.
successor to the Xbox 360,
Which you liked?
which I liked very much. But I'm kind of like, well, am I spending $500 so I can get to Netflix faster? Like, what else? There's no games I want to play. I just want it to turn on faster and get
Yes.
to Netflix faster.
You will become me.
And then, how much is that? Is the GeForce Titan still $1,000?
The
Graphics, like insane graphics card.
I don't know.
I'm starting to.
But it's called the Titan, so, it must be good.
Yeah, I don't know. And the PlayStation,
You
but-
need that for Titanfall.
I kind of want to wait and see. Like, is the
Game
PlayStation
costs $1,000.
are the PlayStation games going to be like hella more awesome, like graphically, than the Xbox One? It's so hard to tell right now because everything's
Yeah.
all rumors and speculation.
Yeah, you gotta wait on stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is a good segue into the news of the week.
What happened?
This company called Valve decided that they want to enter the console war.
All right, so it was a 3-pronged announcement: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right?
Wait, when you said what happened, you were being naive.
I was lying.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
I know what happened. On Monday, they announced SteamOS.
SteamOS, like GLaDOS?
Yeah, Steam.
They should have really just called it GLaDOS.
I know. Whatever.
You'll be glad to use GLaDOS. I mean, come on, it writes itself.
But people know what Steam is who don't know what GLaDOS is. So SteamOS, Steam operating system, Steam Linux operating system.
I did not hear any details about that other than that.
Well,
Linux.
Let me tell you, it's Linux.
And it plays video games.
It plays. Okay, here we go. It'll play
Break it down.
the 200 games they have available now. Steam has available now on Linux. If the machine it's on can handle those games, it has streaming capabilities. So if you put that on like a Roku type thing or a Chromecast type stick, maybe it doesn't have the hardware to run Linux games, it will stream your games from your good computer to your TV.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but because Valve didn't actually show anything, it's hard to know what that means. Is it
Yeah.
1080p? Is it?
I think that's the least interesting of the three.
I think that's the most interesting of the three.
Oh, well, then carry on.
Or at least it's interesting to me because I run an HDMI cable across my house, and maybe I wouldn't have to if I could get some little stick that runs SteamOS and plug that into my TV or my receiver.
Okay.
So
That seems like it could be useful.
So it's a Windows type approach where anybody can install it on anything, as opposed to a Mac approach where they control the hardware as well.
Yeah.
So any company can make it's free to license. So any company can make a computer, but it's still a computer. You can already do that now and just run Steam and Windows. So
So it would need some sort of Steam-related hardware to really be
No, I think the exciting thing is that there's going to be all kinds of weird boxes out
So you're saying I need to pre-order another console?
there. Yes. It's free if you build a computer and put it on. You could run it on you could have dual boot on your current PC. You could run SteamOS. It's supposed to be optimized for games, but again, there's only 200 games available.
Yeah, and are those games like the most technically demanding?
I don't know. You imagine the Valve stuff, and I don't know what else.
And Valve tends to make their stuff fairly low tech or
Yeah.
low
Yeah.
hardware.
Run on anything kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's SteamOS. It's an operating system. That was Monday's announcement. Are we any more questions about SteamOS? They didn't really. All these announcements are like, hey, we might do something someday.
Well, the details on the third one I think are the most interesting.
Me too. So
So moving along.
You just said the first one was the most interesting.
oh no! I thought you meant of the capabilities of the OS. I found the streaming most
Oh.
interesting. No.
I meant that the OS announcement was the
no
least
I
interesting
agree with
sounding of the three.
No, the third announcement is most
Okay.
interesting to me. Of the OS, the streaming capabilities seem most useful.
So since we've come to a consensus that the third is the most interesting, let's move on to the second.
What was the second? The Steam box?
Sing it, Jay.
Steam machines.
Yes, I had told you I have to pre-order another console.
Steam machines.
Yeah.
You're a steam machine.
Yeah, Steam machines.
Yo, the Steam machine.
So Steam machines are they kind of already talked about this. The same thing. Anybody can make a Steam box and put SteamOS on it. And Steam is beta testing some hardware
Yeah.
that they were not specific about, but that they're going to give to 300 people. I assumed everybody here signed up for that.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I couldn't because I can't get big picture mode I can't get that to work
Why?
when I try to play a game. I don't know. It says that Steam crashes out because it's running in compatibility mode, but it's not running in compatibility mode. So I don't know what's up.
That's why they did that.
They made you test it?
Yeah, because if you can't run big picture mode, you can't run the Steam box. So.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
bummer.
You can't enter the lottery, Jay. That you would have lost anyway.
I mean, I didn't try to hook it up to my regular TV. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I assume
No,
not.
it should not.
No, I once accidentally pressed a button and suddenly was in big picture mode and it freaked me out.
Even if you get it working, it crashes a lot. So
Yeah. So I'm whatever.
they're releasing hardware evidently, or might, and they're beta testing it, and they didn't say whether it's like a high-end PC or a mid-range PC or like a Chromecast USB stick. We don't know.
It
what
sounded
is.
like they will kind of possibly run the gamut.
Yeah.
Did they say that they were releasing it or did they say that they were licensing it? Because
think-
there's been a company that said they're making a Steam machine for
Yeah, I
like
saw
the
that
last
thing.
year or so.
I think this is the one developed by Steam.
Yeah.
It's hardware that they made there, and because there's only 300, so they got some guy in a workshop putting together these machines. So that was whatever. I don't know.
They said that they'd be shipping those before the end of the year.
To the 300 people.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the actual consoles would be available to purchase, I think, next year.
And
So
then
that-
and
yeah.
then the Persian army was going to go and destroy them all.
Right. What?
300?
Oh, that cartoon.
Yep.
That legend that became a horrible cartoon.
And then on Friday they announced Half-Life 3,
Yeah. Because everything
Finally.
comes in threes.
exclusive to Ouya, which is weird.
Yeah, it was weird considering they just announced their own stuff.
What's
but-
interesting about Ouya is they should ditch their whole everything and just throw SteamOS on there, and it'd be buy it. It's worth $100 right there.
Turn Ouya into your Steam box.
Yeah, which you can do because
the Steam Ouya S.
actually, because the Ouya is an open platform, you could just probably throw SteamOS on there. Have that weird little box running streaming.
I don't even know how that makes sense, but
So you already have Steam streaming to your TV in your living room.
Right.
Do you have any interest in?
No, unless it's a stick that it's just like a $50 stick that I can plug in and it'll stream my games and there's no lag and it's 1080p. Sure.
Yeah.
One less cord. And
Yeah.
it'd be good for everybody. I mean,
Absolutely.
well, I also think that a lot of people have this dream of like PCs that will run as smoothly as consoles, even though consoles haven't been as smooth as people believe that they have been ever since they got connected to the internet. They're
Right.
filled with patching and crashes themselves. But this idea that you never have to worry about, all the things that PC owners...
Drivers and all that stuff.
Drivers and font size and...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the first thing, when they do release SteamOS for everyone to just get for free, I mean, I'm going to grab it and...
Well,
throw it
I'm
on a
talking
hard
about
drive.
the Steam machines, not the...
Right,
not
but that's the
OS,
same
but-
thing. The Steam machine is a computer.
Yes,
So-
but if they can regulate like what's in that computer and say definitely
They didn't-
this will play all these games.
Their language was the exact opposite of that. It was put whatever you want in it, open it up, do whatever, build one. Anybody can make one.
Well, I mean those are for the people who are, interested in that kind of thing,
Right.
who are the ones who are going to be listening to Steam's announcements. But
You mean that if you go to get a Steam box at Best Buy,
Yeah.
it's got like a low end. Well,
and not necessarily a low end, just a known base that your average non-computer put togetherer will be able to say, this will play all the games up to Crisis or whatever.
that's so weird to deal with because Windows tried to do that for a while. They tried to do that weird.
I don't believe that it's like something that's actually a good idea in terms of taking advantage of the things that the PC can do.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people dream of that,
Yeah.
and that the Steam
But then
machine is like that.
Get an Xbox
I mean,
or a PlayStation 4.
yeah, but then they also want to play Shogun 2 or
Right.
whatever.
But if you had because this could be a console-like experience, but you can also say, hey, I'm going to bump this down to a lower resolution because I want it to look better, which you can't do on consoles.
Right.
And if it's Steam, then you can mod the heck out of Skyrim, or whatever you're playing, as long as it has the Steam whatever.
I've been feeling the Skyrim itch again lately.
Yeah?
I don't know if I should scratch that or not.
Oh man.
Do it, pure mage.
I would probably try and load up my old character, and I don't even remember what he or she was.
Skyrim.
I have all the Skyrim DLC now. I haven't played most of it.
I haven't finished the Dragonborn.
Yeah, the character I stopped at just like hit level 10 or did whatever quest triggers all the add-ons starting. Mm-hmm. And one of those was crashing it with the mods, but then it stopped crashing. So I can go back, but I haven't yet.
I don't have the Skyrim itch.
And
Not at all.
I guess Jay probably doesn't have the Skyrim music. Text me, Jay. I'll give him the Skyrim itch.
That sounds gross.
My Skyrim text
I don't want your
message-
Skyrim itch.
I had the Skyrim itch for a while, but it cleared up. It took 200
Put
hours.
some cream on that.
Yeah.
My text message sound, for those of you who don't text me regularly and are in the same room, is the Skyrim drums.
Oh.
The level up?
It does play it on the level up. But no, when you load up the game, and it goes boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah. Well, that's killer. Half-Life 3, though. I mean, does
Yeah.
anybody care?
Whatever.
I've actually never... Well, I did really like Half-Life 2 Episode 1, but I've never actually, other than that, like fully engaged with Half-Life. So Half-Life 3 is not like some bugaboo that I've been waiting for all my life.
Let's end this charade. What was Friday's announcement?
It was it was a boombox that was in the shape of a controller, basically.
Okay, so it was a controller with... There's a controller.
It's a Steam controller.
There's a Steam controller, again, in beta. Again,
a steamroller.
A Steam a steamroller, yeah.
Again, 300 people are going to get to use the controller. It has no analog sticks, and instead has...
No digital pads either. Unless you want to count the things as a digital pad.
What's a digital pad?
The D-pad?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did it not? Oh, but it has so many buttons on it.
Wait, I always thought D-pad stood for directional pad because it's like up, down, left, right.
That makes sense.
D-pad, not digital.
Well, it's also digital because it is either on or off as opposed to analog where you could move it like slightly.
Yeah, but then all the buttons are D-pads. They're all digital.
Eventually that came to be the case, but...
Yeah.
But you don't call like the X, Y, A, B buttons the D-pad.
No, you don't, because they're not a pad.
But they
I bet it's-
they share the same properties as a button that is either on or off that you press or
I
do
was a-
not press.
Yes, but you don't need to say them. They're just buttons.
They're digital buttons. If I was a betting man, I would say probably it is directional pad.
But it is also digital.
You're right that it's digital. But
Yes.
and then you're dug in, but yes, it is digital. But
Or it was digital.
But I bet D-pad probably stands for
The D
directional pad.
stands for debate at this point.
The D stands for dick.
It's the dick pad.
So the controller has no digital pad, but
No directional pad,
instead
no
of
digital
analog
pad.
sticks, it has kind of like a mount, like a what's the trackpad?
Trackpad.
Looking thing that has click. It's evidently clicks when you press, which is nice.
Yes.
And it has a touch screen in the middle, which also clicks when you touch, which is kind of awesome. I kind of wish the iPhone had that. And once I
that sounds
heard
cool.
that, because it's more textile. It's got all kinds of triggers on the bottom, and
Yeah. It's got all the buttons you want on the back, but the front is
yeah,
two
trackpads and a touch screen.
two trackpads with a lot of
It's got
force
two
feedback.
turntables, a microphone.
It does kind of look like two
The
turntables.
point
and
of the
microphones.
controller, which is what's exciting for me, is that their goal with the controller is that you can play mouse and keyboard games on your couch.
Right.
And that if that works, and if that's okay, then I hella want that controller.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to play not just my controller games on my couch for PC, but my other Steam games, like Dragon Age on my couch on PC.
If it works as well as it seems to work, it would probably be just about as good for any game except maybe like the super fast real-time strategy games.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Or
I'm not sure it would work so great for like a StarCraft, but just about everything else,
Sure.
I think, yeah.
The flip side of that is probably not for like a Street Fighter if you're serious about it, but
Yeah, but they always say to get like the big ass thing anyway.
yeah, so that's fine. So this would be great if it
but
works.
yeah,
as
and then
intended.
they like had a whole bunch of game developers come in and test it, right?
Yeah.
So they had like Tommy Raffines, I don't remember exactly how to say his last name, but half of the team meet, and he wrote about it where he came in and he tried to play Super Meat Boy with it, and he said, I designed all these controls to play by touch, by feel, like so that I could get the exact amount of precision, the exact precise level of controls and the feel that I wanted, and it did not take long for me to use the Steam controller to get just about as good as the Xbox 360 controller.
Did you notice that? So where the analog sticks on a typical controller is the trackpad,
Right.
But rather than having the 4 digital buttons on the top right where your thumb is, they are split, 2 on the right side, 2 on the left side. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was all adjustable.
No, not those. They're in the hardware.
So
Where you're right above your right thumb and right above your left thumb are 2 buttons. Where usually there's 4 buttons by the right stick, and instead they're split on either side of the touchpad in the middle, which is kind of weird. Because a lot of games, you're going to want to be moving with your left stick and rocking the buttons on the right stick. You can't press those 2 buttons on the left and move at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
but I think. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that would make sense for conventional logic of using the left thumbstick for movement and the right thumbstick for navigation.
Right. Like in like I was just playing Diablo on Xbox, the demo, and I'm moving with the left stick and I'm using all my powers with the buttons on my right.
I'm just trying to think that if it's supposed to be a more direct translation of a mouse and keyboard, I guess that would work the same way, but I don't know, maybe it's slightly different or different enough where
I get the impression that the right stick trackpad is supposed to be buttons. Like from what I read, like it gives you force feedback,
you're
so
right.
you press the buttons on that.
It can be digital. It can be an analog stick or digital buttons. You're right.
Yeah.
Both of them can. They
Right.
can do whatever. Yeah, they can do
Okay.
whatever they want. That's true. But if you're using a traditional control scheme like in Diablo on Xbox, the left stick moves.
a traditional thing for
Yeah.
a game that just came out.
The right stick rolls in a direction, and then you have your 4 buttons for attacking. So in that scheme, both trackpads are already used for stuff. So you just have those 4 buttons on the left and right. Would be a little weird. You're losing 2 buttons on the right side.
I mean, if it's customizable, then it's customizable.
Yeah.
And like it might be weird to get the roll. You might have to attach the roll to the triggers or something. But
The roll is a directional roll, so you can't attach it to triggers.
Well, you could attach it to triggers and moving the left stick.
Yeah, it's so. What's awesome about this controller? I mean, sure, I'm sure it's just going to be a new kind of way. Like, did you ever try to use the chat in Steam, big picture mode?
No.
They have a kind of a new way of doing that is at first weird and then super awesome and intuitive. That kind of does a radial menu.
Intuitive chat.
Yeah. So anyway, Steam's crazy.
Radial menu like Dragon Age?
Yes.
Gross.
So I'm not saying it's going to be a problem. I'm saying that when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, that's going to take some getting used to. But yeah, it's completely customizable to do whatever you want with.
They're like making it open source or
yeah,
open something so that people can hack at it as however they want.
And so the touchscreen in the middle, at first when I see that stuff, I'm usually like, I hate. Like, my Harmony remote has a touchscreen, and I hate it.
What do you mean, man? That's a straight-up Dreamcast VMU right there.
Well, that part's cool. But
that wasn't a touchscreen. That was just a screen.
I like the idea that it clicks when you press it.
You can touch it.
You could touch it.
What about that makes it not a touchscreen?
Couldn't you raise chocobos on that thing or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it had little buttons on it.
It had some little Tamagotchi type thing.
Yeah, it had like a Tamagotchi thing. Was that when... Was that pirate RPG had the...
Skies of Arcadia, Skyrits?
Yeah,
Skyrits.
That's really what it should have been called.
You could raise chocobos.
Skyrits.
They weren't chocobos, but yeah, you had like a little pet thing that you could send off to do quests. Yeah. I never actually played that with a VMU.
No, because they all were broken or dead. All of them. Everyone.
But you could actually play Virtua Tennis entirely on the VMU. Like, it just had the tennis game on the screen, except they were, little tiny stick figures. So, like, you could sit in the corner away from the TV and play it on that. And it was actually, in some ways, more effective because there weren't any animations to get in the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was playing in college, they always sent me into the corner, so.
Good times.
So the touchscreen has some sort of feedback when it clicks. And I think that's important. Mm-hmm. And then the touchscreen can be anything, right? So there can be 6 buttons or 1 button or
I saw in the prototype versions that they're shipping with whatever consoles or boxes that they're sending out to the lucky 300 Spartans that are going to give these a try. They don't have that touchscreen. They come with just a little 4-button mock-up thing to sort of represent what that would be like. So does that mean that it will actually be like a 4-quadrant touch screen? So it's like touching it in different areas will be like different buttons, or at least it could be programmed that way.
You could attach your Diablo rolls to that, where you just like tap the touch screen, like the direction of the center.
I'm not real worried about it.
Yeah, you're gonna get your Diablo.
Well, also the other thing is, if you're playing Diablo, you don't need the Xbox controls. Like, you can use the traditional PC controls with this controller. That's the whole purpose of it, right?
I actually like rolls. Mm-hmm. I think that rolls are generally cool in games.
Yeah, Kaiser rolls.
Whoa, guys. This is controversial with me.
What, Kaiser rolls?
No, just rolls in video games. So rolls in video games are awesome as long as they do not slow your momentum in any way. Otherwise, I dislike rolls.
Yeah, I agree with you. They should either accelerate your pace or maintain same pace.
Yeah, Zelda maintains your
Zelda. Man, Zelda is a rolling ass game. Yeah. Ocarina of Time. Yeah. Rolling ass game because you could just keep rolling and it maintains.
But I was playing something recently. I don't know if it was Kingdoms of Amalur or what, but something where you roll and there was a little hitch at the end that kind of slowed you down.
Well, that uses like rolls for dodge, which is different from rolls for movement.
No game uses rolls for movement. You're supposed to use it for dodge. You just roll everywhere anyway.
No, in Zelda you roll for movement.
Do you? I think you just roll for dodge, and you just roll.
Everyone rolls for movement in Zelda.
Yes, it became adopted that,
but that's. I like to roll. I don't care if it's for dodge. I'm rolling.
Yeah,
everywhere.
You know what? You should play Nier, man. Nier is a rolling ass game,
and you should also take ecstasy before you play it.
Why?
Because it's a rolling. It's a rolling game.
What am I missing here? Was rolling an ecstasy thing?
Yeah. When you take ecstasy, you start rolling.
Yeah. Oh, you say you're rolling.
You say you're rolling. Like you say you're tripping if you're
rolling
on acid. If you got the Molly, then you're rolling.
Okay. I always thought of roll. Okay. I thought you were just rolling. I didn't know.
Well, you're not like you're either rolling. You're not like rolling on dubs.
My boss thinks I'm an ecstasy addict now because I'm constantly saying I'm rolling.
I mean, there are other uses for it. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be ecstasy only.
If you're rocking first, then you're rocking and rolling, and that's different.
You remember? Did you used to say truck? Like, let's truck.
No.
When you were on ecstasy?
Yeah. It means run, like let's book, but let's truck.
No.
Like that Grateful Dead song.
Sunshine Daydream? Because that's the only Grateful Dead song.
Trucking.
Oh,
I
there's
think
something
he's
called
talking about
Trucking.
trucking. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
That song doesn't sound like something you'd have to hurry up to do anything with. Like, that's not the soundtrack for you to be like booking it. It's pretty mellow.
So that's our Steam segment.
Steam has made us ecstatic.
So what are you guys stoked about? Anything about that?
Can you pause it real quick so that I can adjust my mic, because it's seriously like,
We'll be right back. Welcome back.
I don't even think anybody knew that we took a break there, but now you know.
I'm still excited about the controller.
I'm excited about the controller too because why?
Because it looks cool.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not that excited. I think
Rowan is excited about a controller. Can we just stop for a second and acknowledge the fact that Rowan PC ass mouse and keyboard
this
Kaiser
is not true. This
is excited about a controller.
This is a lie that you have invented.
This is a lie that you have.
You're trying to put me
perpetuated.
into this box of like only using mouse and keyboard when I use a controller like for half of the games.
Master Race.
You are all about mouse and keyboard and always have been on this
I was
show.
just wondering if
Like I have always used joysticks and controllers and whatever.
so. I'm the only one here that does Steam on their television. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
But do either of you have interest? Are you interested in that? If it was easier to do?
I mean, if it was easy, maybe, but
Yeah, if like you said, there was some sort of Chromecast version, like Chromecast for Steam games,
Yeah.
I would totally use that.
Like a $50 USB stick you plug into your TV and it just streams from your computer.
Yep, totally buy it in a heartbeat.
And then you'd have
Just so I could, if I wanted to.
See, but then I get into because SteamOS. We didn't talk about this, but I can't believe that segment's supposed to be over. But SteamOS talked about they're going to have your they said media stuff, and I assume that means Netflix and Hulu and all that. So at that point, that's where I start thinking, well, maybe I should just have a dope computer and not have a console.
well, when is SteamOS coming out?
2016.
Because, if it's like a year from now, then
Yeah.
who even knows what it'll look like. But actually getting something that'll just play files from my computer easily on my TV, because right now I'm going through the PlayStation and that like stutters a lot, and sometimes the media
What's the bottleneck?
I have no idea.
I found that when I still had a PS3, that it was kind of a pain to get media to stream to it sometimes. I don't know why. Sometimes it just seemed finicky, but I would use the PS3 because since it had a Blu-ray player, you could stream like ripped Blu-rays.
What, MKV files?
I don't know.
Those were the big thing that was hard to do on the Xbox, but now you can do on the Xbox.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I can.
Oh.
And I didn't do anything weird.
Pirate all the movies.
You used to have to do a bunch of weird stuff, like PC ass, download this weird Mazzicola driver package and install that and all this stuff. But now it just does it. So
Well, regardless, the PS3, you could stream, Blu-ray movies from your media library, and that was the reason to use a PS3 over 360. But yeah, it didn't always work.
I've never done that with my PS3 because I had the Xbox 360 for so long before I had the PS3, so I got accustomed to it. But with the 360, with the older 360s, there was a lot of it would pause for a second and buffer and that kind of stuff until they came out with that black wireless adapter.
Oh,
And then that
the
thing,
blackness made it work better.
well, it was dual band or something. So that thing made it so you could stream HD fine. And then when they released the S or slant, I don't know what it was called.
yeah, the whatever.
That thing is fine too. So then I gave my dual band to Dangerous friend of the show, Dangerous Dave, because the old white wireless adapter like sucked for streaming.
Yeah, I still have one of the old white 360s, and I just do hardline.
Oh, well, that should be fine.
which should be fine, but it hasn't been streaming Netflix like full on HD, and it should. We talked before about how my internet's working really well,
right? But there's so many
no
factors
reason
to
why.
that, because that happens to me, especially with different shows like Arrested Development. Will start off looking janky and then slowly get better.
Yeah.
But there's so many different factors. Like it could be your internet speed, it could be your wireless adapter, it could be Netflix having a bad day, it could be like all this stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. My speakers are way better on my PC, and my TV is not a huge amount bigger than my monitor. So there's not a really big reason for me to do that.
Right. We've talked about this and I think Jay would agree with this, that because we have desk jobs, like the last thing I want to do when I get home. I used to be much more into playing games at my desk, but now I'm like, I gotta be on my couch to play games.
So that's why I have a standing desk. I like play games while standing and write while sitting.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I didn't realize how much I missed the couch until GTA 5, because that's the first console game I've played in forever. And it's real nice and comfy.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why.
I mean, I don't think my wife appreciates it, because she was real stoked that I was just off in a corner playing games on the
With
PC,
your headphones on.
with my headphones on, and she can do whatever. And now I'm like, turn off the record player. I can't hear Trevor like.
I don't know that
berating
I would
this prostitute.
I was talking about this with my friend, but like the worst thing to hear from your significant other ever for me is when she says, "You can play your game if you want."
Oh yeah,
That's true. I don't know why that's the worst thing to hear, but when I hear that, I'm like, I definitely am not going to do that.
no, I can tell you exactly why, because they may as well say, I don't really want to hang out with you right now, because it's pretty much that's what it means.
Or
it
it's
is the nice way of saying, I would rather go do something that's not with you right now.
Is that why I felt like it was more like just a weird little trinket, like hey, you can play your game.
There's
right
that
now.
too.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cute that you want to play your game. Yeah, sure, I'll reward you.
I would
because I'm
never
in
do
charge
that.
of your gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see. My wife she gets so annoyed by my game playing that I know that when she says that, it means that she's got some other plans in
Right.
mind.
Oh, that works.
And
Well,
so she's kind of like, let me distract you with this shiny trinket while I go do something else.
because she's got
Jay,
stuff to
I have
do.
some bad news about your wife.
I think I would never play a video
Usually
game.
it's watch a TV show that I do not want to watch. That's typically...
I have some bad news, Jay. Your wife likes Charmed.
Yeah. No, I wish. That'd be fine. No, this is like when she really wants to watch the Real Housewives reunion
Oh.
special.
But I'll get down with some Master Chef, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that stupid model show. I'll get down, and the Bachelor thing. I've been watching.
Oh, yeah. I'm guilty of that, too.
Yeah.
It's that's a whole nother topic, maybe a whole nother
Josh
podcast.
and Jay's excellent, not so excellent television show.
I was thinking about video games this morning. So
What are those?
television is a group activity that you can do together. But for me, video games, I would never play a video game when my girlfriend was hanging out because it's such a solo thing. And I was thinking about Jay has this perfect thing going on where you and your wife play Rock Band.
Well, yeah, that's the loophole.
That's the Venn diagram. And
Yes.
It all goes together.
Yeah. Well, yep.
What's up with boobs?
When I touched the Steam
Why is
controller,
bringing
it
up
felt like
my
boobs.
wife and Rock Band automatically
No,
take
no,
you
no,
to,
no, no,
to
no, no, no.
boobs? That's kind of messed
No,
up,
it's
man.
the Steam controller that has the boobs.
That's
Got
true.
little
The
nipples
Steam
in the middle.
Steam controller does look.
You specifically said you want to talk about some Boob Jam stuff before the segment.
Well, we had we've been chatting a little bit with Jen Frank on Twitter, and
No longer friend of the show.
No, always a friend of the
Always
show,
a
Jen
friend of the
Frank.
show.
Excellent.
Jen Frank and Taylor Cock, always friend of the show.
Always friend. Well, maybe not Taylor, but but Jen gets a
Forget
pass.
even why we dislike
So-
Taylor.
Friend of the show means blacklist, right?
Yes, exactly. Friend of the show, Kirk Hamilton. Friend of the show. Jen, I had seen some tweets go out recently about Boob Jam stuff. I don't even know what's going on with the Boob Jam. If any games have
There are a lot of
bubbled to
games.
the surface yet. Oh, have you checked some out?
I haven't checked them out yet.
That's
So-
a game jam about boobs, right?
It's game jam about boobs.
You nailed it.
So let me predict all the games. There's Asteroids with boobs. There's Centipede with boobs. There's Pac-Man with boobs.
Pack boobs. Senta boobs.
Is it the same? They have like 24 hours to make a game about boobs.
Yeah.
No, it's like a long distance game jam. They had like 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, my wife and I
You can make Tomb Raider in 2 months.
we're,
Yeah, but it would only sell 3.4 million copies. And
Right.
Be a disappointment.
It's to close the shutdown Square.
right. Well, I mean, GTA 5 seems like it's been the most successful Boob Jam game
Yeah.
so far.
The game made $1 billion in 3 days.
$1 billion for a strip club lap dance minigame. It's pretty good.
And golf.
And golf and doubles tennis. Pretty good. But I had a good idea for a Boob Jam game that I thought I would share. This idea came to me while my wife was trying to book tattoo appointments for us while we are out of the country. We're taking a trip to Berlin.
Oh, you're taking a tattoo vacation.
No, but we're getting a tattoo while we're on vacation.
Yeah,
For
you're
fun.
taking a tattoo vacation where you like leave the country so you can get better health care and tattoos.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the sole purpose. But we thought we'd get a little, I don't know, little something for our trip. Thought it would be fun. Anyway, that's besides the point. On the shop that we made the appointment at, it has an FAQ section, and one of the frequently asked questions, which, mind you, is on this breakdown because it has been asked frequently enough that it apparently belongs on the FAQ section, and it is: am I allowed to get tattooed while breastfeeding? While breastfeeding.
While breastfeeding?
During.
Are you?
Their answer was something along the lines of, "Hey, we're no experts in on this subject, so if you're cool with it, I guess we're cool with it." Which I guess is cool, but that would be a cool game if you had to tattoo someone while they were breastfeeding.
What's the mechanics?
So the mechanics is kind of like Surgeon Simulator, where you're
Kobe.
yeah sloppy tattooing, but you can't screw up too much, and you can't make the baby cry. The baby's going to be a distraction. The person's going to be fidgeting probably.
Whoops, tattooed
like-
the baby.
Yeah, don't tattoo the
Game
baby.
over. You stab the baby
We've got the name of the game now.
in the eye.
Tattoo
with a needle.
baby.
Don't tattoo the baby.
Don't tattoo,
Don't tattoo
the baby.
Like cut the rope.
So
People
that's
breastfeed all over
throwing
the
it
place,
out there.
so-
If anyone would like to make "Don't Tattoo the Baby," just please add me on as a writer
Why
credit,
not?
and that'd be great.
Why not?
That'd be a good one.
Why not
right?
get a tattoo while you're breastfeeding? Because
Well, breastfeeding in public is kind of it's a controversial topic.
It's a taboo.
It's relevant to the
It's
Boob Jam.
Tattoo boo.
It's super uncomfortable.
Tattoo boo.
I think it's super uncomfortable, but that's my own insecurity.
Taboo
right?
too.
Breastfeeding in a park or at a party or wherever. That's all.
Yeah, breastfeeding parties.
That's all extreme to me.
Let's party with some breastfeeding.
Well, have you ever hung out with a new people that just had a baby?
just did today.
And you're just hanging out, just chilling, and all of a sudden, bam! Someone's breastfeeding. It's
Usually, see if they, for the most part, people usually bust out the little napkin blanket thing, right?
still weird, man.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
But it's only weird because of me. Not it's. They should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I
the
think it's-
baby being about to cry at any moment, I think, is a lot more annoying.
Yeah, but they should go off to some weird place and do that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they should stick all crying.
They should be
babies in the
ashamed
closet.
of their boobs and go to a shameful corner and feed their dumb baby.
man. See, now I wish Jen Frank was here to talk about this boob shaming, because I bet she would have some strong things to say about your boob shaming stance.
Well, like I said though, that's all on me. That's my own.
I know
insecurities.
you're a
Okay.
boob shamer.
Yeah, but I'm evolved as a person. I understand that
You're
it's not.
evolved.
Yeah,
he's,
it's not.
He's like a Democrat. Like a Republican would just say, "I feel weird about that, so therefore ban it." Whereas
Right.
as a Democrat, he's like, "I feel weird about it, but I guess maybe it's okay, so let him do it." But
Right.
I feel weird
gonna
about
feel
it, so we
uncomfortable
all
about it.
need to get to a point where we're okay with it.
Right. I'm saying I got to work on myself to be at a point where I'm okay with my friend's wife whipping out her boob in the middle of breakfast
Yeah.
With a baby.
with a well, yeah.
See if it's not with a baby.
It's not with a baby.
A little bit more awkward.
Yeah, that'd
possibly.
be more. That'd be weirder. We'd have to have a talk, I think.
Yes!
Trevor agrees. It's the only time he's finally awake, I think, after all this.
Hey, did we ever say the radio call sign?
Welcome, KWTF listeners.
Welcome
Simply
to the end
one.
of our podcast.
I'd like to know about Endless Space.
You saw me playing that?
Yeah. Because I've tried and I played for about 20 minutes. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't find it was just like Civ, and that I could. In Civ, I know what to do, and in this game, I didn't know what to do.
Well, this is just like Master of Orion II.
Oh, well, when you put it that way. But for those in our audience that may not be familiar with Master of Orion II, why don't you break it down?
It was a Microprose game. That was the company that initially made Civilization, and they were kind of trying to do Civilization in space and then fantasy Civilization. But Master of Orion 2 had a few very different things from Civilization that like all these space strategy games have tried to have. Where like movement, you just like you're in a star system and then you decide to go to another star system. There's not like a map.
Are you talking about
solely
Master of
move
Orion
around.
2?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
I want to hear about Endless Space.
Endless Space is like Master of Orion 2.
Oh, okay.
So, like, movement is you move from star system to star system instead of, like, across a generalized map. Tactical combat is usually in the games where Civ 5 kind of has tactical combat on the strategic map, but this, like, goes to a specific combat thing.
Did you play that Star Wars game that was sort of like this?
The Rebellion? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That came with, like, a 600-page manual. That's
Some sweet fanfic.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but that was fairly different in that it had like a specific thing where it was like Empire versus Rebellion, whereas like in the Civ style games you have like 10 different nations or empires or civilizations all starting at the same time and kind of developing slowly. Mm-hmm. So, and the other thing that all these space games tend to have is like you customize your ships. Like every time you get new technology, you don't like just get a new unit. You get like a new thing that you can attach to your ship. So you go and you click and add it to your ship. So now you have a laser ship instead of a missile ship or whatever.
Ooh, go on.
But that's bad
Why?
because it takes away all the personality and just adds a kind of weird little spreadsheet side that takes up time.
I like adding stuff to my ships, though.
Like, if it's just one ship, that's cool. But if it's, like, every ship in your fleet, every time you get a new piece of technology, then it's, I don't know, it's like, it's one of the things where customization gets in the way of, or allowing customization gets in the way of having personality.
Oh.
And that's a big problem with Endless Space, is that there is not a whole lot of personality in the game.
Right, that's what I found too. Also, the tech tree looked a lot like The Witcher 2's tech tree.
Ooh.
It had the 4 cones kind of branching out.
Yeah. It's got almost like some sort of ancient or Celtic looking, like,
Right. But because it was in
magical-
space, it wasn't very easily relatable. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're learning reading and map making,
Yeah,
and bronze working.
And like, because there are so many things,
Yeah.
like it's a really big tech tree, it's like hard to get like emotionally invested in getting them. Like in Master of Orion 2, which is still like the pinnacle of the genre, like it took longer to research things, and the things that you researched, like you knew that was going to be something that was really awesome and going to like save your empire. Like you were going to like get battle stations to defend all your star systems so that no one could just randomly invade you anymore. And Endless Space just kind of has a whole bunch of stuff that some of it seems pretty cool and some of it doesn't. And but like the whole genre, like there are a couple other games like this. Like there's a game called Star Drive, which is basically this, only real time. It's got a lot more of the personality. Like there's a lot more of the
When you say personality, I think of this old PC game where you would kind of meet with aliens and it would show the alien face and it would kind of give you like, are you going to be obsequious with them? Or are you going to be polite to them? Or are you going to
I think you're talking about Star Control.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I'm talking about Star Control 2 specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, like seeing the aliens' faces. You don't see that in Endless Space.
See, that's such a huge thing with these.
Like, yeah, and like when you get a new technology, it just says, here's your new technology, and you can hover over it to see what you did, but it doesn't like say, congratulations, your scientists have researched this, which will give you the opportunity to, you know. So it has a very kind of detached feeling to it. There seems to be a pretty good game underneath it still, but I'm not sure if like it's a good enough game that I would want to keep on with that instead of going back and playing Master of Orion 2 some more, maybe playing some of the Star Drive game, which hopefully has its bug to iron out.
I've never heard of Star Drive.
Came out about 6 months ago, and it's basically like real-time Master of Orion 2. I normally dislike, you know, saying that something is basically something else, but
Who made Master of Orion 2?
Microprose.
So why is there no Master of Orion 3?
There was.
Oh, okay.
What time is it? How long have we been doing this?
And that's not time. We got a few more minutes. 5 more minutes before we can swear.
Okay, because I want to swear a lot about Master
We'll
of Orion 3.
we'll circle back.
If you want to talk about Master of Orion 3, there will be swearing.
Okay.
So.
Well, I guess what I meant was if that's the, you know, if Master of Orion 2 was so good, why is there no present day game by that same company? Did they dissolve or?
Well, Microprose dissolved.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know who owns the rights to it now, where Firaxis obviously got the rights to Civilization. Sid Meier, I don't think, was directly involved in Master of Orion, so he didn't like take the rights with him.
Right. But he did his own space thing, which also would be rad to see a sequel to.
Well, he had his name attached to Alpha Centauri. He didn't actually do it.
No, he didn't make that game?
Yeah, it was actually Brian Reynolds, who also designed Civilization 2. Sid Meier's Civilization 2 was... And like, so the box to Alpha Centauri says, like, Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, a game by Brian Reynolds.
That was back when I just wanted to throw his name on everything.
I mean, he probably still has one of the, and definitely back then had the biggest name in computer game design. Will Wright probably has caught up or passed him.
I feel like Will Wright's gone.
As like in terms of like making the games to some extent.
But
But
even his name, like, I mean,
if he came out and said like, I want to make this thing, then I think people would know who that is and have that name recognition.
but he had that. Yeah, I guess just after Spore, it was kind of like, hey, you talked a big talk there, guy. Why don't you go?
Yeah, he pulled them
Go
all.
help Molyneux out with Goddess.
So, yeah, I don't know who owns the rights to the Master of Orion stuff. I don't know where Microprose went. Master of Magic also, that was their fantasy variation. I think that was also weaker. Alpha Centauri was a science fiction civilization, but it wasn't like an explore space. It was all on a planet.
Right.
was
Chillin'
just-
game.
It was a pretty chillin' game.
Chillin' game. All right, so you don't sound too excited about Endless Space.
What? Well, I don't know what endless space is yet. Still, so
It's like
It's the
civilization,
civilization in space.
you guys took a really long way around
But
the block.
that's where
to
I
say
started
that.
at. I'm pretty sure that's where I started, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I still feel like I don't really know much about Endless Space. I know a
It's
lot
a
about
turn-based strategy
Master of
game.
Orion 2,
well, it's like Master of Orion 2.
But it doesn't
It's-
sound like
Star Drive.
when you tell your civilization stories, you're telling stories. Like both of you guys are like, and then I attacked these guys, and then these barbarians showed up, and this happened. But when you're talking about Endless Space, I'm not really hearing that.
I mean, I haven't gotten that far. I've mostly like restarted a bunch of games because I'm learning how it all works.
Yeah.
So I don't have any stories yet, but it's also harder to ascribe the stories because it seems to lack a certain level of personality.
You know, yeah, I was gonna say there are some strategy games, and I'm at a loss to think of any off the top of my head that I've personally experienced that are like this. But you know, there are definitely games like Civilization that have a lot of personality,
Right.
that are very easy to sort of create your own little micro narratives about what's going on. And then there are some strategy games where you turn it on and it's like the movie Office Space, and Lumberg is showing up at your desk and he's just like, so you got those TPS reports for me?
See, that's Master of Orion 3.
Okay, I do kind of get that you're just sort of going through these motions of this is what you have to do to progress. I have to push this button to do this thing, and then the next thing happens, and then it's just like a factory job or something.
Kind of, yeah.
Personality goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah, so like Star Drive got known as like a game to pay attention to by certain strategy game groups because like the the picture that it shows, like when you go to Steam, and like the first alien you can choose is like a samurai bear,
Okay.
a space samurai
Sure.
bear.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
quirky and fun.
So, and it's like a big cartoon takes up the whole screen picture.
He's related to Kung Fu Panda, right?
Yeah, I think they're distant cousins. Wait, no, pandas aren't bears, Jay.
What?
Dodoy.
They're not?
Nope.
What are they, like koalas?
Kind of. I think they're closer to marsupials than they are to bear. They eat bamboo, not flesh.
That's true.
Bears are supposed
They're
to eat
just
flesh.
vegetarian bears.
But
They're vegetarians.
part of bearness is that they're, meat eaters. Anyway, samurai bear takes up the whole screen. Like, we'll go into diplomacy with you and be like, I am samurai bear. I do this for honor.
Is Samurai Bear fully voiced?
No,
Okay.
it's still, it's like made by one guy, and it looks really good for that.
Oh, really?
But it was buggy when I played it. I did a preview version like a week before it released, and I heard that the final version still had a bunch of crashes. So
Is Chris Roberts the Wing Commander guy that has that new game?
yeah,
You guys know about that?
I mean, I've seen some stuff about it. I like Wing Commander.
It's making it was kickstarted and now it's got its own
Star Citizen.
Yeah, Star Citizen. It's got its own thing now, but people are dropping like lots of money on ships that they're gonna own eventually in the game that's not out. I don't know. That game looks kind of rad.
It's like the Sid Meier's Pirates in Space game is like something that a whole bunch of games have tried. Like, I guess Sid Meier's Pirates is kind of elite on the seas. But,
Well, it's like that. What was that? Shoot.
Privateer?
No.
Freelancer?
Yeah, that's what I want, and that's what this looks like to me.
Well, I mean, like, Freelancer is like descended from Privateer.
Right.
Privateer comes out of Elite.
But Freelancer is what I've played.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm just saying there's
You got
like
your ship. You go around. You can trade things. You can fight things. You can do whatever.
there's like a history of those kinds of games being like something that people get really, 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 really into,
Yeah.
and
Star Citizen looks like one of those games.
they're always like Molyneux games where people promise like, oh yeah, you trade with these planets enough, and
Yeah.
eventually they'll get powerful enough, and they'll go to war, and the whole galaxy will change, and all this stuff that like, maybe it'll be true. Like, I know Freelancer promised a hell of a lot of that and delivered like a tenth of it.
Sure. I don't know.
Um,
Anyway, that game's too far out to even deal with.
But Star Citizen, they're promising it again. I saw someone kickstarting a game where they were like, "Hi, I'm like a 19-year-old super genius from, who's got my doctorate from Stanford already, and I'm making this like procedurally generated procedural narrative space game
What?
with like this insanely good graphics engine that I just like programmed randomly."
With
And
voxels?
no, it looked like a normal good graphics game.
No.
I wish I could remember what it was called, but it was
me
like
too.
it was like, this is the game.
So
This
the-
is the kind of game that like a lot of the people who want to create like the ultimate sort of procedural narrative thing want to have working.
If procedural narrative is anything like procedural dungeons, I want nothing to do with it. Having just played some Diablo.
Well, I don't even know if Diablo 3 has procedural dungeons anymore.
That they
Like,
have the
they're
dumbest
barely-
level. What the level designers just draw just random dead ends all over their dungeons.
That doesn't sound fun.
Well,
I'm sure it does. There's no way that. I mean, a good dungeon that's designed well creates its own narrative. Like a Skyrim dungeon, has to be procedural or randomly. Maybe they probably have modules that they flip around and just randomize.
yeah, it's less randomized than previous Diablos, I think. There are a lot of like straight up normal things that have like some random element, or not normal but repeated, I don't know, embedded dungeons that they have like randomized elements. Like, maybe there'll be a room that leads to another dungeon here, or maybe there won't.
Anyway, that game sounds cool by that genius kid.
I mean,
So the graphics like 4 out of 5. Fun factors.
I use like
promising.
I use like a scale of 10, so whatever 4 out of 5 would be.
Like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, something along those lines.
This is gonna be like Dwarf Fortress.
like an 8 out of 10.
Kind of. Dwarf Fortress is like getting into that same dream of like the ultimate procedurally generated game, but Dwarf Fortress is like a strategy version of that.
Yeah.
Or kind of a strategy slash
And
city builder.
completely inaccessible. Almost completely inaccessible. 1% of the world can play that game.
Only this kid, this 19-year-old,
I played Dwarf Fortress.
and Rowan. Those are the only two.
I played a little bit.
I had like a good fortress running. I got it going, man.
Oh, really? I should try that again.
I don't know, like there were some elements of it that seemed really good and some elements of it that like the whole losing is fun thing never actually applied because I got good enough that I wasn't losing. So then what was it, you know? Just a bunch of dwarves running around.
What it is.
You know, while we're still talking about strategy games, this is a little. Do you wanna break and we'll finish?
We got to say goodbye to our KWTF listeners.
Goodbye, KWTF listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. Check out the rest of the show at joshandjayshow.com or on iTunes.
Or our YouTube channel.
Which
I don't know what it is.
It's Josh and Jay Show.
Just go to joshandjayshow.com.
Josh and Jay Show on, Google stuff.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back.
So fuck Master of Orion III.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Shitty
What's
shit.
up with that
shit.
game?
Shitty shit. Well, remember my story about Outpost last week? Mm-hmm. You know, how it promised the world, and then when it actually came out, it was total crap?
Yeah.
Master of Orion 3 was fairly similar to that, but its promises, like, extended even up to, when it was released or a week after it was released. Like, it seemed like it should have been the ultimate space strategy game, and, like, all these, like, interesting political considerations and economic things that you didn't worry about. You just like set the slider and you got your taxes, but now you got all these interesting economic decisions you can make and shit like that. And when it came out, it was just like a spreadsheet where you kept clicking in turn and occasionally something might happen and there was like no idea why it might have happened.
Motherfucker.
Exactly, Trevor. That's Trevor, right?
Fucking assholes.
That one's definitely Trevor.
Yes. That's our Canadian Beetlejuice.
I'm looking down at the soundboard. I'm seeing a lot of Trevor on there.
Oh, really?
There's more Trevor
Thank
than
you.
Rowan.
Thank you.
Shitty shit.
They're all on there. But while we were still on the topic of strategy games, I wanted to mention I'm late to the party on this one. I didn't realize until just a few days ago that there's an expansion for XCOM on the way.
Yeah.
Coming in a couple months.
Yeah, we haven't talked at all about that.
I don't know anything about it.
It looks pretty rad. It's do you know the name of it?
Enemy Within.
Oh, that's the name of the expansion.
Is it a full-on story expansion?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
Rad.
it's like a whole second XCOM campaign
Yes.
built around this idea that like some of your soldiers are like taking alien technology and modding their bodies with it. So Enemy Within is
Yeah, so where the original XCOM campaign was all about sort of co-opting the alien technology to use against them, now you're like sort of taking control of their DNA and you're doing like stuff on a genetic level to modify your troops.
I don't know if that's like something that you are doing or something that it's saying. Like I don't know the level of division between story and decision making from the player on that.
From what I read and heard, it sounds like they'll just be like upgrades that you can purchase basically for your troops. Like you learn by doing the autopsies of different aliens. You learn the technology, and then you can apply that technology to your units through upgrades, same as you upgrade anything else.
Is it a standalone thing, or do you continue your game, or do you know?
I think it's like a new campaign.
Yeah.
So you start over.
Yeah. So the other side of it are these like biomechanical like exosuits. So you turn your character into like a Gundam type thing using alien technology.
I mean, that all sounds cool and whatever, but I hear it's also got new voices and hairstyles, so I'm in.
Oh,
That's all you ever wanted.
That's all I mean, I wish that had been free. I think
Yes!
that should be free, but I guess if they're adding like a whole new campaign and shit, then that's cool. But
Yeah, I'd probably just pick it up for the new hairstyles and stuff, and then hey, get a free campaign with it. Great.
like, I need to have a fro. I need to have like a lot more female hairstyles than just like ponytail or not.
Right. There. All I end up doing is giving my all of my female squatties like that like I don't know shaved on the side, like long hair in the middle, like I don't know what you call that. It's like the cyberpunk haircut.
Yeah. And then they all have American accents, but if they have like other accents for the voices, that would make the game like 50 times better.
Well, especially considering they come from different countries.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, this guy's from Thailand, and he's like, how's it going, Joe?
Well, it's because the world is so homogenized at that point.
Right.
There's only one accent.
That's a good way to explain it. Although,
And they're all Debbie from C-Lab.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's really awesome.
One
I forgot C-Lab existed.
One thing, I was listening to a podcast about this with one of the developers of this expansion, and he pronounced it Firaxis.
I pronounce it Firaxis.
Yeah, I always thought it was Firaxis.
I always thought it was Firaxis.
Not
until
Firaxis.
Rowan says Firaxis, and then I was like, oh,
Fire Access just sounds so much cool.
I agree. Firaxis, like fire, right?
Yeah, I almost don't
Like, what
pronounce
is
that.
Like with fur, it's like a Christmas
Firaxis.
tree.
Well, I skipped the I. I think it's just kind of Fraxis.
Fraxis?
No, not Fraxis.
Like Praxis?
He says Firaxis.
Like, no, not like fracture.
Is
no, I know. It's subtle.
Is he
Firaxis.
English?
No.
Okay.
Oh, right. Aluminium.
Yes.
I say sapia, but it's sepia.
Sepia.
Yeah, it's not sepia.
You a Homo sapia?
For the what? The
I know sepia tone. It's
Yeah.
sepia.
Huh.
It's always been sepia, I think.
Did you take that like dialect quiz that's been going around the internet?
No.
It's a lot.
Sorry, I hate things that are.
No,
going
but
around
I
the
call, but I
internet.
still call it pop. So, whatever.
But that's not. You're not pronouncing pop wrong.
No, but that's I
You're
guess
from the Midwest.
you're right. That's just that's
supposed
a word choice, not
Yeah,
pronunciation.
you do your
Well,
warsh.
a dialect.
Yeah,
is-
got it. No, I never really did the warsh, but I knew some kids that did the warsh.
Doing some
Well,
warsh.
the Warsh is a southern thing, and kind of also like going
You'd
up
be-
into Philadelphia. and
You'd be
stuff.
surprised,
Reading.
like people in Ohio.
Well, yeah, you get southern-ish accents going all that far up, especially like Appalachian.
But that's everywhere. That's like in Willits also.
Where's Willits?
It's like 3 hours north of here. They probably say warsh.
I think they say don't tattoo the baby.
Don't tattoo the baby. Kickstarter.
Anyway,
I'm gonna kickstart.
I took
it.
this quiz and it was actually fairly accurate. It had like said that I was like from the West Coast, which is true, and from Colorado, which is true. And there's even like a little dot in Ohio where my college was, and also St. Louis, which I've never been to. But
Yeah, you do have an accent of sorts.
everyone has an accent of sorts.
Right, but
that.
I noticed yours. You have odd pronunciations of things.
No, I wouldn't say odd. I would just say
Correct.
specific.
Yeah.
That's all.
Y'all.
You don't say y'all, do you?
Yins.
I do sometimes.
I say y'all a lot when I'm hanging out with people that say y'all.
I
kind of say whatever everybody
I
else
only
is
say
saying.
y'all when I'm like on Twitter and I type y'all.
I do think I type y'all more
I
than
never
I say
say
it, but
y'all.
I rarely talk. This is like the only time I talk all week. That's not to my cats or my girlfriend, I guess.
It really bugs me on Twitter when when somebody starts something like, "Oh, make up a movie title. It's 5 words or whatever," and my whole Twitter feed gets filled with everybody. Like a comedian will say something, and hashtag it, and then everybody starts.
You
doing
mean
it.
like a hashtag game?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that just like replace something in a movie title with whatever.
Oh, those are awful.
Those are the worst.
They're all awful. Anytime everybody's doing the same thing, it's just filling up my feed with garbage.
What if it's funny though?
It's not.
It's never funny.
The original comedian.
Note to
maybe.
self: block Josh on Twitter. But back to XCOM. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, you guys are excited about the expansion.
You haven't finished the original campaign.
Mm-mm.
Might want to think about doing that.
Eh.
I'm sure I will.
Like the game is a lot more interesting in the first 2/3. I mean, it's not uninteresting in the last third, but like you're going to get pretty much all the good stuff.
I've played the
Yeah, I
first
guess-
2/3 about 5 times at
Yeah,
that point. So
like it's not a game where like finishing the story is at all relevant.
I know, but I want to.
It would make me feel better if I
Yeah.
knew that you had gotten to the end once.
And the final mission is Bug to All Hell.
I don't remember it being. Oh no, you're right. It is.
No, you're wrong.
It-
No, you're right, Rowan.
Actually, yeah, that last
I
mission
had a
was
guy
it was
who's
kind of
got-
janky.
I had a guy in flying armor who got like stuck to a beam with his head in the alien ship. He was a sniper, so he's still moderately useful. But yeah,
Oh,
his
wow.
head was like trapped in the at the top in a beam at the top of the spaceship.
Bugs are the worst. I had a game-breaking bug in Grand Theft Auto over and over again yesterday. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh no.
And
Why do I give a fuck?
what's so weird about bugs in video games sometimes is that, so I was racing this girl on a bicycle. And
As you do.
And you had to win the race. So I'd get to the end, and at the end, there's like a checkered
Flag.
Yeah.
hologram that you're supposed to fly through
Right.
or drive through.
It's like a gate, like a hollow gate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'd go through that, and then she would stop, but then she was nothing. I mean, you couldn't interact with her, you couldn't do anything. All my missions on my map were not there.
and you're
because it thought I
Rowan.
was
Rowan, don't touch the soundboard.
because it thought I was still in this mission because it wouldn't end. And it's such a weird thing because the game is so alive, and then all of a sudden when you're dealing with like this basically a body on a bike,
Yeah,
it makes
it-
you realize that
It really takes you out
the
of it.
illusion
Yeah.
that they created. And I couldn't shoot her. I couldn't do anything. So I did the race like 5 times. I kept getting the bug over and over and over again, and then finally, I guess I must have done something different because it triggered the actual ending.
That's really weird because during the same mission where you're doing the triathlon against the crazy like fitness nut who obviously has her own personal issues going on besides that, I kept messing up towards the end. There's a during the bicycle part of the triathlon.
You're talking about that's the first one with Michael.
No, I'm talking. Actually, this is the one with Franklin.
Okay, the second one with Franklin.
Second one with Franklin, where you are on a bike and there's a part where you have to like do a jump over this little bridge, and I kept I couldn't make the jump.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm going as fast as you can go.
Yeah.
And I kept missing it, and the jump is right before you cross the finish line.
Yeah,
So if you
I
mess up
remember
that jump, like you're pretty much done for.
Yeah.
And she kept getting ahead of me after that point, but instead of finishing the race and then having to like wait for her to respawn and do it all over or whatever, I would just fire my gun, and then it would say that she got spooked, even though
That's
you,
how I
even though you
restarted the
finished
mission.
the race, and then you can just
Yes,
retry it.
That's how I would restart the mission when it was bugged. But how weird is it that there's no mission restart?
Yeah, that you can't just pause it and
Yeah.
say restart.
Yeah.
It's kind of whack.
And this stuff that you're encountering, because you're not like hitting it exactly the right place or whatever, is very. It's like they like, here's this open world game, you can do anything, but then
You can,
but then
yeah, but the thing is that with Grand Theft Auto is that in actuality they're like, there's this open world and you can do anything as long as it's these things.
right, because if you try to,
it's shooting or our mini games.
Or
Well-
lap dances or tennis.
I don't
or-
mean like that. I mean that in a mission where you have. They're like, you need to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I think I'm going to try to go way over here and do this other
Nope.
thing. They're like, no, you've gone too far away from where we wanted you to be because we have structured like events and explosions and like I noticed when I did that bike race, it was very scripted. Like the same guy would ride towards me and this other thing.
Yeah, like I saw people who were like, I was doing a mission where I had to drive to a place, and I got out of the car and I walked in, and I failed the mission because I hadn't parked in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You know what? See, this is one of the reasons why I always loved the game Stuntman, was because that is a game that they created a premise to explain away all of those scripted events.
Oh, right. But that was such a frustrating game.
It was, because that's the nature of that game. Like things progress, like you're basically on a set track, and because you're a stuntman filming a movie, everything was exactly the same. Like extras, people on bicycles, people in other cars, everything was scripted to happen the same way because you're shooting a movie and it's supposed to happen the same way
Right.
every time. But I always thought that was such a brilliant premise to basically just you don't have to worry about that taking you out of the illusion of the game.
It is
or
a good.
whatever.
It's a perfect premise for this type of things.
Yeah.
And Grand Theft Auto 5 is better about that stuff. Like
It is.
4 was awful with, hey, you need to kill this guy, but they want you to go on this elaborate chase. And if you're just trying to kill him, or you have good aim, or you have a rocket launcher, that person is immortal until you get to where you're supposed to go. But on this one, I found there are places where I think they have set up an elaborate chase, but I happen to have a rocket launcher, and it would be fine.
Yeah.
There were a couple of missions where something was supposed to happen with a helicopter, but I happened to have a rocket launcher and just blew it up, and they were like, cool.
Future of gaming.
And it's cool that they don't tell you what you need to do to get a gold until after you finish the mission.
Yeah. And then still, you're not sure exactly what you did wrong.
No, because it's
didn't
in
get a gold.
achievement language, sort of
It is achievement language. So
Blazing Angels. You're like, what the hell is Blazing Angels?
Yeah, but I didn't blaze any angels. It said I got 2. Does that mean I'm supposed to get 5 total? Does that mean I'm...
And Blazing Angels means run over motorcyclists or something.
Yeah. And then, of course, when you go to the menu to replay a mission, it will give you a breakdown and a description of exactly what.
Oh, it does?
those goals
I've never
are.
done that yet.
You should, because replaying missions is actually... I like replaying missions in Grand Theft Auto because it cuts out a lot of the... If you just want to go back and experience, like, what... Like, maybe a mission had a particularly cool chase sequence, or you used a vehicle in a unique way, or whatever. They tend to keep those kind of, like, special moments, like, tucked away in main missions, or something that you're really only going to play once.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's fun to go back and try it again.
I've had ones where I'm like, oh, I would have got gold if I hadn't done this one stupid thing, but I just want to keep playing the games.
Totally.
Well, I have to go back anyway because it keeps popping up those damn Jay beat your score in blah blah blah.
The most recent one was telling me Joshua has been wasted 50 times, and I was like, dude, you gotta cut back.
No, man,
you gotta cut back on the Racer 5.
I told you that I've spent most of my gameplay as Trevor trying to steal jet airplanes and land them in my hangar. So I get wasted. I die a lot. I'll spend hours doing that.
You know what? Just to go off on a little bit of a GTA 5 tangent, I took the aerial tramway up the mountain. Did you do that? The fake Palm Springs aerial tramway, which is taking the tram
to the top of Mount Chiliad?
Yeah.
I hiked to the top of Mount Chiliad. Oh, I started driving up Mount Chiliad. My car could not go any further. I started walking. A mountain lion tried to attack me.
Oh, you got Red Dead Redemption-ified.
But it missed me, and then I found like a four-wheeler, and then I got to the top, and then I rode the tram down.
It's at the top of the mountain is one of those bail bond missions. Like you have to go up there to.
I haven't done any missions up there yet.
It doesn't tell you to go up there, but you know the lady Maud who tells you to go capture dudes.
I'm on the second one. I can't find the church.
They're hard to find. They're all of those are pretty difficult, but I think this is the third one, maybe.
You must be, because the second one is the church, and I'm trying to use a helicopter to kind of look for this area.
Yeah.
Don't you wish? I'm sorry. I really wish all that phone stuff would go to my real phone.
You can.
There's
an app that you can download for the game on your iPhone that will do that.
I thought it just had the chop game and the.
I thought it would send your stats, but I'm not.
No, I want to be able to check my email and look at the picture of where the church is on my phone while I'm playing the game.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my gosh, you just got me so stoked that that's a possibility, but I don't think it is.
I don't know.
I want to check my GTA email on my real phone.
I thought that it pushed everything on your phone in game to your phone and to your real phone.
No, it just has like 2 mini games, like a dog mini game.
Oh, that's lame. And no tennis?
Wait, Life Invader's on here.
Yeah, see? There you go.
But that doesn't have my email.
Life Invader profiles. Because you need one of those on your phone.
So anyway, you had to go to the top of.
I had to go to the top of the mountain to find one of these escaped, one of these bounty hunter mission guys, and that worked out. It was ridiculously accurate how exactly it looked like taking. I've taken that tram up the mountain in Palm Springs. And it looks just like that.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a real thing.
It's totally a real thing. It's called Pala Springs instead of Palm. Literally, they changed one letter in the name, but it was rad. And during that mission, the more I play this game, the more I realize that so much is that's going on with the discussion of this game has to do with satire, right? How effective is this game as a work of satire? Is it even satire? A lot of dude bros seem to like to use that as a defense of anything that could be seen as controversial or offensive in this game. I don't know. I don't think that it speaks like that. It rings real true to me as far as like satirizing like anything real, but it does seem like a pretty good job of satirizing itself, like of the GTA
at this point,
series.
I don't know if
I don't know if I'm just always looking
No,
at things through that lens.
You are, and it might be that it's just satirizing Grand Theft Auto at this point, or it might be that Duke Nukem syndrome where they're just like, I still think this stuff is cool, and it's totally not cool.
But
Duke Nukem was a satire initially.
No, I meant the new one.
Yeah, and then the new one that was not. But
no, the new one didn't acknowledge that stuff was lame. It was like, chicks and blah, blah, blah. And like the GTA might still be, the Housers might still think that GTA is clever or biting or whatever. But
what I
tell.
agree with that, and I think it is probably closer to the Duke Nukem level of satire. But the difference is that the game seems to be aware of itself as being on that level and comments on it constantly.
Yeah.
And my favorite conversation that seems to address that a little bit is the one we were talking about earlier when Michael and Trevor are in the car and Michael is telling Trevor how much of a hipster he is.
Yeah, it was funny.
I don't want to give it away too much, but there's just something about that conversation that the more I play the game, the more I feel like every time Michael and Trevor are having a conversation that it's really just the game talking to itself. Like this is what you think you ought to be, or people hold you up to this certain standard and maybe you should try to be better, but really, and that's the Michael character, but really, I mean, this is a Grand Theft Auto game. You're Trevor. Like, you're fucking shit up. You're chaos, right?
Yeah, it might be. It's hard to tell.
I mean, I don't know that they necessarily like had that as their main focus or even had that in mind.
I don't think
but that's
any
just the way
developer, writer, or
I
artist
read it.
has ever had that as their main focus on
have.
anything that anyone has ever commented on.
Well,
But-
I would totally disagree with that.
But
that's all Spec Ops was.
that's all. And Driver San Francisco is another.
Spec Ops was in your face about that stuff. So it's like.
But I'm saying that I feel like
that's
Grand
what
Theft-
it was. It wasn't hit. It wasn't like something that like. I mean, you might be right that.
I'm just saying that it's not. I don't know how important it is to view it as right and wrong. I'm just saying I think that you can read a lot of stuff in this game like that. I feel like a lot of these conversations that appear to be talking about the different characters and their struggles really feel like they could describe the sorts of struggles that people have with either rationalizing what Grand Theft Auto does or trying to condemn it.
Right.
Like,
So the people in the game are talking about the things that happen in the game,
Well,
but
I
they're
don't.
funny about it.
in that specific conversation that Jay's talking about, the hipster conversation, it could definitely be GTA saying, "Look, we know."
Yeah.
Like, and then the Franklin character is you. The Franklin character is Harry Potter. Like, he's there to go, what's going on? What's that? Explain this all to me. Like, he's basically you. And it could be that Michael. It could be that Michael is GTA's past and Trevor is GTA's future.
Well, I don't. I just sort of, whatever.
I'm glad we had the video on.
I like that there was like 20 minutes of Rowan just standing, like just lurking in the corner.
Huh?
I don't think you guys talked about GTA that long again.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all. I'll stop with my.
I hope that that's what was happening in that scene. I didn't really think about that. I just thought it was funny that they're making fun of hipsters because it's and pointing out the circular nature of that conversation.
Yes.
But I hope that you're right because I do not want Grand Theft Auto to continue to be Grand Theft Auto in the way that it is now.
I guess I feel like they continue to address the fact that they should aspire to something more and should, like that maybe that is the quote unquote right thing to do to try to, you have built up this history. Maybe you have a responsibility to evolve, but at the same time, it's kind of saying that will always be a failure because you can't escape that you are just this cesspool
how is it
of
saying any of that? Like what text from the game? Like you're talking about a hipster conversation. Like when does it say like you can't evolve or can evolve? Where is that conversation?
Well, that's every conversation with Michael and Trevor
such as
Michael constantly trying to explain how for the last 10 years he got away from crime and he's in the witness protection and he's trying to lead a normal life. And Trevor's it takes all of 5 minutes before Trevor is reintroduced into his life for him to fall right back in to the same sort of cesspit of all of the bad stuff that he was doing before. That sort of trying to break out of that is pointless, and that's a theme throughout. That was a theme throughout Grand Theft Auto 4. I mean, that's
a theme throughout like 5 billion crime
Well, then why are
movies.
you asking me how the game explains that? I mean,
Well, what I'm
that's part
saying
of
is
Grand
that,
Theft Auto's DNA.
But yeah, that's the point. Like that's not Grand Theft Auto talking about itself. That's just a cliche that all those crime movies have.
Right, but Grand Theft Auto 5
But
has...
but you don't think that it takes a different context in a game that has a history of...
It might take a different context for you as someone with that history, with that series, but like... Yeah, that's just it seems like it's just your lens that you want to apply to this. Like
I just said that it's not a right or wrong thing, that this is how I'm viewing it, and I think it is a legitimate way to look at this game.
I mean, it might be a legitimate way to look at that game as
There's more than just that, though.
Yeah, it's
no,
like...
I mean, Jay's right. I mean, but there's more. I mean, the game has other, like, first of all, this character Trevor, who's an awful, gross character, but is the only character that seems to have any kind of self-awareness or to be aware of all the dysfunctional...
Well, he's the only person who's really like, that I am what I am. Like, he's not trying to pretend like he's something he's not.
Right. But not just the only character, the only thing in that game. Like, you'll be listening to the radio and it'll be like a girl... oh, I'm so dumb and blah blah blah, and just this most stereotypical horrible thing. And Trevor's the only one that will confront people like, you're just being insecure right now. You need to do something else. Like, you need to break out of this. There's other things in the game where Jay's probably not there, but Michael's family goes to therapy.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that part yet.
And if you want to get all meta with it, like, it could be GTA kind of starting to go like, this is all pretty dumb what we've been doing so far, and we're aware of it. Because, like, even listening to the radio stations, it's the same stuff they've been doing for years, right? They'll have, like, you should try these new pills. They'll make your dick hard so you can fuck your girlfriend,
Sure.
And, but Trevor's the only character that kind of breaks through the ice, I think, of everything that's in GTA. As he's just...
It's weird.
He points out that people are fucked up because... they have problems and issues they need to deal with, and not just that they're fucked up. Because it doesn't try to remedy America. It just says America's fucked up.
Right. And Trevor is a character who believes that by recognizing how fucked up everything is and like just sort of embracing that, that makes him a more honest person in general and a more like genuine person, a more genuine character.
He's the only genuine
And
character.
in a weird way, I think that reflects a little bit how maybe I don't know, how I have started to feel about the game is that it feels its most genuine when it is at its most, debaucherous, because that's what's honest for the game.
Have you dealt with Trevor's relationship yet that he gets into?
No, but I'm at the part where you kidnap that Mexican drug lord's wife and he's like seems pretty sweet on her.
It's the only like honest, like, touching relationship I've ever seen in a GTA game.
Well, I'm excited to check that out.
They're mature and they care about each other, and it's not just like, oh, here's this hot chick or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Grand Theft Auto is a game where if a lot of characters may claim that they want less chaotic life. They want to, be more comfortable, relax, retire, not be caught up in all the violence and whatever. But nothing in that game rewards you for doing anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you're only rewarded for fucking shit up.
We're at the hour mark since our last break, so we should probably either wrap it up or take a quick break.
No, that sounds good. We can wrap it up here since, I don't know. I think we're good to go. And I'm sick of arguing with Rowan about my own opinion. So.
We can argue again next week.
Sounds good. Actually, we're not going to be around next week. We're going to be off for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know when these things get posted, so
well,
whatever.
There'll be a little bit of a gap, or maybe you won't even notice, depending on how much we space them out. But as always, you can reach us on Twitter at Josh and Jay Show, at Joshua Doan, at Jay Pullman, at Rowan Kaiser. Email us, joshandjayshow@gmail.com, and we'll have some video going up on the YouTube channel. Hopefully.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes also. I don't know if we're going to keep doing video or what. Maybe, but
we'll see. It's a little bit of an experiment. We're going to see how it goes.
Power to the people.
Thanks, everyone.
Game over.